Welcome back to Best Futuristic Gadgets. The future arrived ahead of schedule. A flying car that carries itself on a vehicle, folds its wings, drives on the road, then takes off. An electric air taxi already certified for passenger service in major cities. And a humanoid robot doing physical work in real environments that 2 years ago required human hands. 10 future inventions already changing the world. Not coming soon, already here, already changing things. Number 1. Solar power requires sunlight. The Texenergy Infinite Air 12 requires wind, and wind shows up when solar doesn't. This is a portable, off-grid wind turbine, compact enough to carry in a bag and deployable anywhere the wind blows. A genuine power generation solution for the environments, the weather conditions, and the times of day that solar panels can't serve. The turbine deploys in minutes, a collapsible rotor system that assembles without tools and catches wind at the speeds that field environments regularly produce. The 12-watt output charges power banks, batteries, and the USB devices that modern expedition gear runs on, continuously, day and night, as long as the wind holds. For overlanders, expeditions, remote research stations, and emergency preparedness, the Infinite Air 12 is the power solution that works when the sun doesn't cooperate, in the environments that grid power hasn't reached, and through nights that solar panels sit idle. Wind and solar are complementary, not competing. The Texenergy Infinite Air 12 is the portable wind half of that equation, finally available in a form factor you can actually carry. Number 2. Flying cars have been promised for a century. The XPENG AEROHT is the first one that solved the problem nobody else thought to solve. Where does it take off from? This is XPENG's flying car system, a ground vehicle that carries a detachable eVTOL aircraft on its roof, drives you to an appropriate takeoff point, deploys the aircraft, and then serves as your ground transport when you return. The land aircraft carrier concept eliminates the infrastructure dependency that grounds every other flying car concept. You don't need a vertiport, a helipad, or a runway. You drive your carrier vehicle to open ground and take off from there. The eVTOL itself is a 6-seat aircraft with full autonomous and piloted flight capability. XPENG's aeronautical engineering applied to a passenger aircraft that connects to the ground vehicle ecosystem below it. Flying car concepts have always assumed the car flies. XPENG built one that carries the aircraft and changed the entire equation. Number 3. Boats stay on the water. Submarines go under it. The Seabreacher X does both, at speeds that make the experience genuinely extraordinary. This is a 2-person submarine watercraft shaped and engineered after a shark, a semi-submersible vessel that dives below the surface, breaches it at speed, launches into the air, and re-enters the water in a continuous dynamic performance that no other watercraft category produces. The hydrodynamic hull generates lift as speed increases, the same physics that allows it to breach the surface and become briefly airborne at speeds approaching 50 miles per hour on the water. Underwater, articulating pectoral fins provide pitch and roll control with a responsiveness that makes the sub feel piloted rather than steered. The cockpit is fully enclosed with a clear canopy, giving the pilot forward visibility underwater and through breaches that the vehicle's nose cameras extend in all directions. For marine entertainment, aquatic performance displays, and anyone who has ever wanted to know what it feels like to pilot a shark, the Seabreacher X is the watercraft that doesn't belong in any existing category, because no category existed for it before it arrived. Number 4. Snowmobiles conquered flat terrain decades ago. The steep, technical, tree-lined mountain terrain that enduro riders want, that has always been where snowmobile capability meets its limit. The WS250 was engineered for exactly that limit and beyond it. This is an enduro snowmobile, purpose-built for the aggressive, technical mountain terrain that conventional snowmobiles manage with difficulty and pure enduro riders approach with machines that weren't designed for snow. The WS250 bridges that gap. snowmobile power and winter capability in a platform with the handling, weight distribution, and maneuverability that technical mountain riding demands. The suspension geometry handles the steep side hills, deep powder traverses, and technical tree-line navigation that enduro terrain produces, remaining predictable and controllable in the conditions where snowmobiles that weren't designed for this environment become unpredictable and dangerous. Engine output is matched to the weight and handling, enough power for the steep climbs that mountain enduro requires, delivered with the control that prevents that power from becoming a liability. Mountain enduro existed before the WS250. It just didn't have the right snowmobile. Number 5. The electric air taxi is no longer a concept. The Joby Aviation S4 is already flying passengers. This is a 5-seat piloted eVTOL aircraft that received FAA type certification, meaning it met the same rigorous safety standards that commercial aircraft are certified to, and is currently operating in early commercial service in U.S. cities. Tilt rotor design provides vertical takeoff capability with fixed-wing cruise efficiency, taking off like a helicopter and flying like a plane at speeds up to 200 miles per hour with a range that serves meaningful urban trip distances. 12 minutes from Manhattan to JFK, trips that take an hour by car, in a fraction of the time with zero direct emissions. The air taxi wasn't coming. It arrived. The Joby S4 is what it looks like in passenger service. Number 6. Most robots are impressive in controlled environments and useless everywhere else. The Figure 03 was built for everywhere else. The third generation of Figure's humanoid platform represents a step that's genuinely difficult to overstate. The 03 moves through unstructured environments with a fluidity and physical confidence that earlier generations only suggested was achievable, navigating tight spaces, handling uneven surfaces, adjusting to unexpected obstacles in real time without the recalibration pauses that make earlier robots feel brittle in genuine use. The hands are where it becomes extraordinary, multi-fingered, dexterous manipulation that handles objects the way a human hand does, picking up a cup without crushing it, opening a door without forcing it, moving fragile items without dropping them. Fine motor control that makes you forget you're watching a machine rather than a person who moves with an unusual efficiency. Onboard AI processes its environment continuously, building spatial understanding of its surroundings, identifying objects, predicting tasks, and executing them with an autonomy that puts it in a completely different category from every robot that preceded it. Figure deployed the 03 in real manufacturing environments, real tasks, real performance requirements. Humanoid robots were always going to change manufacturing. The 03 is where that change began. Number 7. Bike seats have caused discomfort for as long as bikes have existed. The vabsRider invented a new kind of seat entirely. This is a virtual axis bike seat, a saddle system that moves with the rider's pelvis through the natural rotation that pedaling produces, rather than the rider's body moving against a fixed saddle surface. The virtual axis refers to the pivot point around which the seat moves, a geometry engineered to match the natural hip rotation of the pedaling motion rather than resist it. The result is a seat that eliminates the friction, pressure, and chafing that conventional saddles produce through that same natural pedaling movement, not by adding cushioning to absorb the problem, but by removing the mechanical cause of the problem at the source. For cyclists who ride long distances, the saddle has always been the limiting factor, the part of the experience that degrades fastest and demands the most accommodation. The vabsRider addresses that limitation with a mechanical solution rather than a material one. Bike saddles have been cushioned and shaped for a century. The vabsRider moved instead and changed what sitting on a bike feels like. Number 8. Jetson built one thing, a personal flying vehicle for anyone to own and fly. And they actually did it. The Jetson ONE is an ultralight electric multicopter that delivers a flying experience so visceral and immediate that it redefines what personal aviation means to the people who experience it. 8 rotors, carbon fiber frame, a safety system that continues flying even if multiple motors fail simultaneously. The engineering is serious. The experience is pure, uncomplicated joy. The cockpit is open. You feel the air, the altitude, the sensation of being airborne in something your own hands are controlling. No glass between you and the sky, no cabin to muffle what it feels like to be up there. Just you, the controls, and the ground getting smaller beneath your feet. Top speed of 102 kilometers per hour. Automated stabilization that prevents inputs from becoming problems. A learning curve measured in minutes rather than the hours of flight training that conventional aircraft demand. Jetson called it the One because it was supposed to be the first personal flying vehicle for everyone. After flying it, that name makes complete sense. Number 9. Electric motorcycles have been impressive on paper and underwhelming in person. The Verge TS Pro is the one that changed that conversation. This is an electric motorcycle with a hub motor integrated directly into the rear wheel, eliminating the chain, the gearbox, and the entire conventional drivetrain in favor of direct drive torque delivered exactly where it's needed, exactly when it's needed. The result is instant, linear power delivery with a character that internal combustion motorcycles spend decades of engineering trying to approximate, and the Verge produces it from a standing start, in complete silence, with a throttle response so immediate it resets your expectations for what motorcycle acceleration feels like. No chain maintenance, no clutch, no gear changes. Lean the TS Pro into a corner, and the motor responds to throttle with a precision that the absence of drivetrain lag makes feel like an extension of your intent rather than a mechanical translation of it. Electric motorcycles were supposed to be the future of riding. The Verge TS Pro is the first one that made the future feel worth riding toward. Number 10. Exoskeletons assist movement after it starts. The IRMO M1 assists it before it does. This is the world's first vision perception exoskeleton, a lower body support system with a built-in camera and AI that reads the environment in front of the wearer, identifies what terrain or obstacle is approaching, and preloads the appropriate assistive movement before the wearer has consciously initiated the step. The conventional exoskeleton reacts. The IRMO M1 anticipates. For users with mobility impairments who need assistive walking support, the anticipatory response removes the cognitive load and timing uncertainty that reactive exoskeletons place on the wearer. The system sees the step coming and prepares for it, making the assisted gait feel more natural and less like managing a machine while also trying to move. Stair detection triggers preloaded stair climbing assistance. Obstacle detection flags and prepares for elevation changes. Terrain variation is handled by the AI before it reaches the feet. Exoskeletons assisted the body. The IRMO M1 reads the world for it, and that distinction is the difference between a prosthetic and a partner. Thanks for watching Best Futuristic Gadgets. Subscribe and stay upgraded.